the lumens that I want. So let's go ahead and figure that out, the lumens, the par that I want. I can't remember how many watts are on each of those panels. Maybe I should have looked before I put them up there. This will be kind of fun if it works. We are back at the 5-par spectra, and we are going to figure some stuff out. I've always wanted to have a Reef that ran off a solar panel. I don't know if I'm ever going to do that with this with the big display here, but I'm attempting to do different things. So what we're doing here today, I was very pleasantly shocked to find out, and of course now I'm going to need my glasses, that these are not running off of 12 volts. They're running off of a much higher voltage than that. Figure out what voltage they're running at so I can put a solar panel up on the roof and have it go directly to the LEDs. But as it turns out, it's a much higher voltage than 12. And solar panels usually come in 12, they'll come in 24, sometimes you can get them in, they're a little bit higher than that. There's some really special panels that you can get maybe aftermarket that are like commercial grade that go higher than that, but for the most part we're looking at 24 volt panels, and this is being driven by an even higher voltage than 24 volts. It says on the power supply that it supplies anywhere from 80 to 120 volts DC, so they are DC LEDs, they're not AC LEDs. And then the other thing that's driving them is this little pulse width modulator here. So not only are they being run off a higher voltage, but then there's a pulse width modulator on here that varies the on and off time of these babies. So what I like to do, and what I'm doing over there in the Reef bowl, is I vary the voltage to get the lumens that I want. So let's go ahead and figure that out, the lumens, the par that I want, whatever you want to call it. To get the light that I want, I use voltage to drive it rather than pulse width modulation. Pulse width modulation, you get into this whole other thing that's going on with that, and I don't want to. So I've got my little homemade DIY, there we go. The battery that's in here, you can get them for like 30 bucks. It's the same one that's in the really big corporation, the large Reef name corporation, sells for 200 bucks. This is a much better backup. So I've got a little plug in here in the back. It's a 12 volt battery that's in here, 18 amp hours. If I plug this in, now I'm powering up this little bad boy. This is a buck boost converter. What it does is it takes DC anywhere from 12 to 36 volts, I can't remember, on the low end on the input, and then it boosts it up to a DC output. And the DC output is, I think it tops out at like 85 or 90 volts, I can't remember exactly, which I was hoping it's enough, but I'm not sure, so let's find out. Right now, so get my glasses on so I can see this. We are at 69 volts. So what I'm going to do is there's a couple of little variable resistors on here, and you can also regulate the amperage. But right now we're going to regulate the voltage. Drop down to, what is that, 56? And then we'll go ahead and plug in, and we can take a look here because I have a nice little momentary switch. We can look at the battery voltage that's actually in here. It's 12.59 volts. We're going to raise it up. 57, 8. See when those lights start to come on. 9, we're at 60 volts. They're just starting to come on. We see, and I'm plugged in the blues. And we're just starting to come on at 61 volts. So let's raise it up even higher. We're going to go to 64. They're getting brighter. Oh, do we have some violets coming on, ultraviolets? Look at that, 67. Boom. And we're at 68 volts. Let's go to 70. It's pretty decent output at 69. Ooh, we took a little jump there, didn't we? At 70. So right now we are at 100 par. Sorry, I can't put that on the camera at the same time. So we want to get up higher than 100 par, right? So I'm going to drive this. And we're going to see. I'm looking at the par and I'm thinking at about maybe this height I want to be at 300. So I'm not even looking at the voltage. You guys get to see the voltage before I do. And right here we are at 300 par. And looks like at about a foot away I'm at 300 par. That is at 77 volts. That's not bad. So what I want to do now is I have some small panels up on the roof. I can't remember, I think 40 watts worth of panels on the roof. And I'm going to go ahead and they're at 24 volts. So I'm going to go ahead and plug those into here and drive up the voltage and see how I end up with par. Those little panels up there are the ones powering the light in the kitchen. So you can follow the wire here. Those are 24 volt panels, each of them. So it should be 48 in series, which is how I have them connected. And I've got the wire coming down right here. We're going to go ahead and conduct our little experiment. Okay, so we've got an open voltage, is what they call this. Open voltage of 83. It was actually 84 a second ago, but there's a shadow, I think, being cast over the solar panels by the chimney. So in series, these panels have an open voltage of 84 volts total. And you'll see that climb up and down as that shadow passes. But what that does for me is it lets me know that I can put a maximum of 84 volts directly on those lights without having to use that little dude. So I might just try and have at it directly. Doesn't really matter if you get the positive and the negative mixed up because the light just won't come on. They're diodes. They only allow current to go in one direction. This will be kind of fun if it works. So as soon as I plug it in, and we're not going through this at all, so this is out of the equation right now. This dude. We're just going directly to the LEDs. And we're going to see if we can't power them using a couple of 24 volt batteries. Look at that. Boom. Did drop down to 71, which is another fun thing about LEDs, is it will, as soon as you apply, as soon as you request, as soon as you draw energy off of the panels, that voltage is going to drop. So 71 volts, you can see that. Those babies came on pretty strong. Diffuser required is yelling at me again. Again, you won't be able to see it, only I will. But we are at we're at 100 par. Not bad. Not bad for two little solar panels that aren't being driven 100%. We've got our couple of violets over here, ultraviolets, that are not coming on yet. So we're going to keep leaving that on That'll be interesting if I can drive it off of those two little panels, drive each one of these off of that. That means that I can put a couple of really large, like maybe 100-watt panels, because those are only, I can't remember how many watts are on each of those panels. Maybe I should have looked before I put them up there. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just leave them. Let's see where where that voltage climbs, and whether or not I can get these bad boys to turn on. And do we have some greens on there too? This is different setup than the ones that I have on the tank right now. I bet the coloration on this for the NEMs is much better. Seattle sun, it stays light longer, but it's not as intense. It's only intense during the middle of the day. It's not quite like the Fiji kind of sunlight. So we're almost kind of driving this off of our location and how the sun is here. I wanted to see what would happen if I put those solar panels directly on this little driver. And we can see this driver is actually sucking up a lot of juice. I got a little impatient and decided to go ahead and boost the situation up with a little drawer from the bathroom. All right. That looks about the same. I don't know. Got any better? Whoa! We're at 300. About a foot away. 320. We're at 320. These guys are not lighting up very much. Those are the UV lights, I believe. But we are at 320, 77 degrees. 77 degrees. 77 volts. And 320 par. I like that. That's plenty good for softies. I'm at 200 at 24 inches away. That's not bad. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I will take it. I will buy it. I think I'm gonna get those panels up today. If not today, maybe tomorrow, and we'll see where we're at. I was wondering why that ball kept getting bigger, and then it hit me.